KYmedia.net is proud to support Chamber Chats and support small business.
The Richmond Chamber of Commerce says, we're open for business.
Welcome to this edition of Chamber Chats with your host, Mendi Goble.
Here we are for another edition of the Chamber Chat Show, and we are so pleased to have one of our members with us today, Sarah Roof from the Pregnancy Help Center. And so we're just going to find out a little bit more. Sure. I understand you guys are celebrating 30 years this year. That's huge.
It is.
That's a big milestone.
Yes. So thank you for having me. But
absolutely.
Yes. So Pregnancy Help Center, we are located downtown Richmond, and 30 years. Yeah, it's a big milestone, and it's interesting because as I go out in the community, I still get people say, I didn't know you all exist, or I didn't know what all you do. And so we're always looking for opportunities to get out more and just educate people about all the services that we provide. And we're, of course, very fortunate that Madison County has allowed us to be here for 30 years.
Absolutely. I think that's kind of funny that you would mention that, because I'll have a business join the chamber, and after a year they'll be like, I don't know if I can make it because people don't know I'm here. And I'm thinking, if they're saying that after year 1 and they're still saying that after year 30, and that's true, if it's not a service that you've needed or been needed to have, then it's something that you don't really think about.
So obviously we have a very specific clientele.
Absolutely. Right.
So if you haven't been in the need for any pregnancy services, and of course what our mission, kind of what we target, are those who are facing an unplanned pregnancy.
Sure.
And so we provide them with support by meeting their physical, emotional, and spiritual needs.
So how did you do that during COVID? Was that a challenge?
It was a little bit of a challenge, but I'll tell you, so we closed down initially those first 2 weeks to kind of figure out, like, okay, what's going on? But we quickly opened back up because one thing we noticed, we provide material aid.
Right.
And so store shelves were bare.
Right.
And so we were able to do a lot of porch pickup for women who had not needed us before, but all of a sudden they really needed diapers or formula that they couldn't get in the store. And so we were able to provide that and did porch pickup. And not long before that, we had started doing an online parenting program.
Right.
So we do parenting classes.
Sure.
And typically we do those in person, but we had started doing some online. And so it was really a smooth transition to like a Zoom format or a phone format where we could continue those without much of a hiccup. And that's still how we're doing it now, a year later, but we're also doing in person for those who prefer the in-person option.
Sure. So, I mean, obviously during COVID, we weren't able to have any of our fundraising events.
Right.
So I think we were all affected by that.
Yes.
And, you know, a nonprofit depends on those events like that. So I know you have something coming up April the 22nd. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So we have, I guess, 3 big fundraisers that we do. We are a nonprofit, so everything we get is from our community, right?
Sure.
And so we do a golf scramble, and our Golf for Life, we were able to move it from June to September. So we were still able to do that. And then we also do what we call our baby bottle blessings. So if you're part of a church in Madison County, typically that goes Mother's Day to Father's Day, and the churches will pass out baby bottles to fill with change, cash, or checks.
Sure.
I always say that all of them fit in the baby bottles. And of course, that was impacted because most churches
were closed down
on Mother's Day. And so we saw a huge impact on that. We couldn't do that. So that took a hit. And then, of course, so on April 22nd, we have our Night for Life fundraising banquet coming up.
Okay.
We typically do that in the fall.
Right.
But last year, still with COVID restrictions, we didn't feel comfortable moving forward with that. So we've bumped it to the
just
spring.
A little earlier.
Yeah. And so we're going to try a spring event, and it will be at Big Hill Christian Church, April 22nd at 6:30.
All right.
Our speaker is Pat Layton. And Pat is the author of many books, but the one that we use is called Surrendering the Secret. And it's actually a Bible study that we used for women who are kind of struggling with an abortion decision that they've had in the past. It's kind of a healing Bible study for them. So we use that. She's the author, and she's going to be our speaker for that.
Fabulous. Well, anything else going on? I know that it's crazy times, and we're still just now trying to get back into the swing of life, I think.
Right.
And I know you, having children in school, must be excited that school is back in session.
Glad to have them back in school. It's kind of that last little bit of normalcy, I think. But, and that's what I tell people, too, because they're like, well, how's things been going at the pregnancy center? And we really haven't slowed down. We've seen a little bit of an uptick. I call it the Corona baby boom.
Right? Oh, yeah.
While people were still in. So things are carrying on as usual, but we do have a medical clinic. So when I say that, we do pregnancy testing and ultrasounds. Everything is free.
Right.
And so we've seen an increase in those as people were stuck at home and looking for things to do last year. And then, of course, parenting classes. So that occupies a lot of our time. We do parenting classes where moms and dads can earn baby bucks and purchase things that are needed, car seats, diapers, clothing, whatever the case is. And then through the court system. So the courts typically require parenting classes as part of a case plan. We saw a dramatic decline in that last year, I think, with the courts being closed. So we're hoping that will start to pick up where we can provide that service for our court-ordered cases.
It's very needed. And I don't think a lot of people realize it, but it's something that fathers need as much as mothers,
And that's what we try to say, it's not just for the moms. It's not just moms who need good parenting skills. There's typically a dad somewhere. And so, and even more so, I think we've seen where fathers just have not had good role models, and so our fatherhood program, we're able to provide that for them. They get to meet with a man, to talk about fatherhood, and a lot of them just have not had those positive role models.
Absolutely.
And so, and that's sometimes through the courts, and sometimes dads just want to come take the classes as well. So it's a unique thing that I think that we're able to provide.
Well, we're thrilled to have you as a member of the chamber and just being a part of our community. You guys offer some great services, and we're very appreciative of all that you do.
Thank you. Like I said, we're very glad. I always say it's a blessing and a challenge. Some days are hard and some days are very rewarding, and we're certainly glad for Madison County, again, enabling us to be here for 30 years, and we're looking forward to another 30.
There you go. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of the Chamber Chat Show, and we'll see you the next time.
KYmedia.net is proud to support Chamber Chats and support small business.
The Richmond Chamber of Commerce says, we're open for business.